Hi, you're all DSP Mechanic, yeah? Right, I'm back in my comfort zone, back where you all know me. Started this run of chassis legs I've got now. I've got this one in, this very nice guy. He's come all the way from Ireland to have us do this. This has previously been welded. And look at the state, right? I've just undone the rear bolts on the subframe and undone the front ones. And bear in mind, he's already paid somebody to do the chassis legs on this. Not on wheel bearings, no. So, yeah, he's already paid someone to do the chassis leg on that. So I've undone them bolts, and that one just fell out. Lovely. And it looks like the tubes actually fell out. I don't know if you can see that. And that tube is the one that actually supports the chassis leg. So, yeah, I shall update more as I cut. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be finding a lot more. And then we've got this lovely Mark 4 in, brake discs, brake pads, calipers, and Alden's just doing major service, dropping all the oils out of it. Say hello, Alden.
Hi, folks.
And our Tigger's been running backwards and forwards to the phone all morning. He's gone crazy. Don't stop. So anyway, like, share, follow. Come and see us on the 22nd of Feb, before Expo. Catch you later. Second video in as many minutes. So I'm just going to show you why I always insist on doing a full cutout when doing these, and I don't usually just do front face. The bottoms is where they go, so there's nothing there to push off, look. So bear in mind, he's paid somebody good money to weld this already. I know you've heard me say that before, right? There's a little bit there, right? But I'm trying to get this back edge apart and just get the bar in. I mean, that's actually going in. It's in the chassis. Dangerous. And you can see where it's been welded in the past. Right? But they've just welded round the bump stop. There's a hole there, look. Shocking stuff. And that little slot there, that's just where I've just been poking a screwdriver in and just gone like that. Just to see just how crispy it is. So I'm going to end up taking this hard liner out and going further forward. But isn't it scary what people would do? Just for a few quid. So, yeah, I'm expecting all the welding that they've done on this to need redoing. I shouldn't be shocked. But it baffles me what people do. So, I'm going to get on with dropping the subframe down a little bit. Hopefully I'll get away with not taking it completely out. And I'm going to start cutting. So, see you later. Oh, you know, it's DSP. Last video for a little bit before I actually get properly stuck into this and get it cutting apart, but I've got to show you. So the people that he's had weld it, and yeah, I mean the welds was quite tidy where they'd done, I'll give them that. But Captain Overplate, granted they've used a decent gauge steel, but you could use 15mm steel and it's still going to rot behind it. This is why I don't do overplates. So that's their layer. That outer one there, that's their layer. And then you got them three are the factory layers that are sandwiched together. And that's what happens is how it balloons out in the middle. So it doesn't matter what you slap over the top, you're never going to stop that rust unless you cut it out and replace it. But the issue we've got now, because it's been covered over, this has all got to be cut out completely because the bottom's gone. And the bottom, what's the point of having a strong front if you've got nothing to support the subframe? And the subframe is what supports steering, suspension, brakes, engine, gearbox. It's all tied into this subframe. I'm sorry, it just gets me so angry that people will do this. And this guy's just drove this like this from Ireland. It beggars belief. You know, one good pothole, which there's plenty of them round here. You know, somebody pulls out in front of him and he has a bit of an accident. It'll just crumble. Just crumble. And not the good crumble either. Because we like crumble, don't we, boys?
Rhubarb.
So, I'm convinced that's going to be the same. And we wasn't going to do the front chassis leg on the other side. But after a little bit of a conversation with the guy that owns it, we've decided that we're going to cut a couple of inspection holes and have a look. If it don't, great, we'll just weld the moulds back up. But I'm convinced it's going to need chassis leg both sides now. And I'm also concerned about the welding on the rear. But we'll cross that bridge later on. So
When we cut it out.
yeah, when we cut it out and redo it, yeah. Oh, Christ.
Best order another 300 cutting disc.
Yeah, well, probably I'm running a bit low. It's just scary. It's just scary. That's the safety of the vehicle. When people say, yeah, it's too far gone and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're too far gone when you're going to do stuff like that. I mean, it's just covering it up. Anyway. What can I say? Like, share, follow, drop us a comment, catch you later. Oh, you know, DSP. I know I said I wasn't going to do many more videos until I got it cut apart, but I got to show you. I just got to show you. So, we saw this bit, choppy, nothing really left there to chop. We go, whoop, into the chassis leg, see? And I still can't figure out why that won't drop, so it must be welded onto the back edge. And if you see in there, look, you can see what overplates do. Fuck all is what they do, because they've just overplated over rust there, and I dare say that'll come apart. But the reason I've decided to do another video is, what do we have there? Expanding foam. So yeah, expanding foam, we got dirt, we got rust. That's the bit that I said when I undone that bolt, and that bolt, that collapsed. And you can see why. Because the inner structure's just not there. It hasn't got an inner structure. But if I get a screwdriver and go stabby, you can extract the expanding foam. Oh dear. And you got to, there you go, there's the entrance hole, look, from inside. So, if anyone's paid somebody to weld this up, look, yeah, we can't be asked to weld up there, so let's just fill it with expanding foam. They'll never know, because how would they know? How would they know? They'll never know. Oh, no. Look at the state of that. So, I did wonder what all this gunk was down here. See all that? I've scraped at it a few times and thought, what is that? And I reckon it's just because they've just blasted it full of expanding foam and then just put as much under seal over it as they can. Nasty. And if I know the guy that's having it done, somebody's going to get a slap. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, like, share, follow. Come and see us at 4 Before Expo, 22nd of Feb. Oh, you know, DSP Mechanic. It's been a long old couple of days. It really has. But we're getting somewhere. We now have a chassis leg. Look at that. And it is an actual steel chassis leg. Red oxide on the end of my hammer now, look.
Silicone not required.
There is no expanding foam in there at all. How about that?
All bathroom cook.
Yeah, I'd be quite confident of that going and doing whatever he wants to do now. It was dangerous how it was before. I mean, the chassis there had actually broken. Go back and look at the old pictures. No, it was just terrible. Absolutely terrible. But now, it's solid. Done the top of the arch as well, because it was scabby. It was split down there. It was broke. It was covered in Sikaflex. Solid. So yeah, done. I've not painted the back end of it because I can't be asked climbing under there. So we'll do that when I've spun it round and under the other side. I can get it a bit higher in the air. But that's it. We're going to call that a day now. We're going to go and wash the hands and then get some rest, eh?
Yeah.
For about 10 minutes, and then it's back to work, isn't it?
It'll feel like 10 minutes.
But 22nd of Feb, keep saying it. Come and see us, Stafford Showground, 4 Before Expo. Good day out. So we'll all be there. I'll be there, he'll be there, Jez, Nigel. Come and have a laugh, come and meet us, come and have a cuppa. So,
Looking at a name, Mike.
yeah, you can breathe easy now, Mike. It ain't going to fall apart on the ferry.
One down.
Well, 1 down, yeah, 4 to go. So, yeah, like, share, follow. I'm going home. Catch you later. Hey, you're all DSP Mechanic. How do you like them apples?
Too far gone it and everything's going.
Yeah. So we've got new brake disc, new caliper, wheel bearings all cleaned and greased, new pads, new ball joints top and bottom, new steering rack end, new track rod end, new camber bushes, new camber bolts. Should be a different car to drive. Now what we're going to do is the other side. Yay! But then we're going to start working along the sills. Then we've got to have a look at the back ones. Because whoever welded this in the past was a clown. Well, con artist, whatever you want to call them. But we'll have it right. We'll get it there. And Uncle Jezebel, he's just about finished on this one. He's remanufactured the step. Done a nice job of that. Bit of body work on this this wheel arch here. Nice job of that. So Vera's about ready to go, isn't she, mate? There you go. Been a good old day, productive day, ain't it, Olds? Yeah, it has. Look at him. All he needs is a fishing rod, doesn't he? Finish, Jen. Just needs a fishing rod. Hang on a sec. Hang on. There you go, look. He's our little gnome, look. He's our gnome from home. Anyway, we're all going a little bit crazy here, so we're going to call it a day, I think. So like, share, follow, drop us a comment. Catch you later. Morning all. DSP Mechanic. Thought I'd do a quick video, just say hello before we get started, show you what we're doing. So this one, the Black Raptor, still with us. She's past MOT now. Literally just waiting on front ball joint spacers to turn up. And that one's ready to go. Oh, and EGR's plate, but there's a couple of little bits. But the main reason for the video, we go around and grab a torch. And I'll show you this. You've been watching me do this one for the last week. Well, Saturday I had the owner here, and oh, excuse me a second. Right, so I had the owner here with me, and we already knew we was going to cut an inspection cover on the passenger side chassis leg just to have a look how bad it is, because it's had welding done on all four corners, and you can see it's scabby. So we thought we'll have a look. You can see top edge is ballooned. Yeah, top edge is ballooned. So we cut the front face off, and that's what we've got. You can see where it's been welded along the bottom edge. You can see we've just put a hole there. Subframe's been welded to the actual chassis leg. Why, I don't know. So, much the same this side, we're going to do it all again. We're going to chop that one out and weld a new one in. I know I make that sound easy. It's not. But, you know, it's not outside of my wheelhouse. We've done a few now, we know what we're doing. But the rear, I asked him if I could cut an inspection hole in the front face because I didn't trust the welding that had been done. Even though it looks quite tidy, yeah? Looks alright. Pass an MOT, no problem. No problem at all with that passing an MOT. But just looking at it, there's a few things that just throw me off. Spring cup welded to the chassis leg. I don't know if you can see in there very well. If I pop the phone in, you can see bolts missing out the spring cup. Oh, what have we got there in the middle? We have a hole. So alarm bells were ringing. I don't trust the person that did the work, so with permission of the owner, we cut an inspection plate, and that's what we found. So the actual inner structure, the main chassis leg, is rotten, right? And that should go all the way back to the back. Look at the state. So yeah, use decent grade steel. Yes, the welding's tidy. There's no doubt the guy can weld, but there's no strength in that. That's literally putting all the strength through onto the outer layers. These are triple layer for a reason. So you've got the inner layer, which is your main structural chassis leg. Then you've got the outer layer, that sort of like supports the rest. And then you've got the one that supports your spring cup. So you can see that's bent back because it's not had any strength up there. It's just nasty. So we're going to end up cutting that one out as well, doing that again. Shame. And I'm pretty sure the other side's going to be the same. I mean, obviously we'll cut an inspection hole before we start. But you can see that's actually been plated all the way up to the top of the wheel arch. And I know for a fact that's going to be fun to get off that spring cup. Hopefully I can save it, because that's welded all the way around. Again, I don't know how well I can show you, but get it there. We've got 2 bolts, bolt missing, and he's been plug welded on. Not great at all. You know, the poor bloke spent thousands of pounds having this welded up, and that's the work he gets. Just overplated and covered up. But that's mine. You've seen the progress. If you want to see what's inside it, go back and have a look at the previous videos. It's all 3mm steel. Yeah, it ain't the prettiest in the world, but I'd put that against anything. That up there will fail before that does, or further back. So let's crack on, eh? More of the same. So come and see us 22nd of Feb next Sunday, Stafford Showground. We'll be there 4 before Expo. Come and say hello, and like, share, follow, drop us a comment. See you later. Oh, you know, DSP Mechanic here. I know I've done this video hundreds of times, but it never fails to amaze me what people are prepared to clear up, to cover up. So this is that chassis leg I did a video on this morning. I've done front face, undone the subframe, and just give it a bit of a clear up. And he's had overplates on the bottom, on the tops, on the sides. Look at the state. So that's this is the strength of his chassis leg. All the way along, it's just gone. But this is the issue with covering stuff up. The only time this would have been found is if it was ever involved in a collision, and God forbid it ever was. There's literally no strength. I mean, that bit there, that big hole there, they'd actually welded along the edge of the subframe there. That edge was still bolted. So, I mean, it's just disgusting. You can see where they've welded the subframe there. Just because they, I don't know if they didn't have the skill or just they couldn't be asked to cut it out and do it properly. So, yeah, nasty. You see there, hole in there as well. Just nasty. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. All I can do is cut it out and replace it, but don't overplate stuff. It's not good. It's not big. It's not clever. Like, share, follow. Catch you later. Hi, here, old DSP Mechanic. Right, somebody's commented on the last post asking me to show with it all cut out before I start welding. So this is it. As you can see. So all the crust is cut out now. I've got it back to what I'm confident is good metal. This little bit here on the front, I was going to leave that in there like that and just weld from there. But if you look at that, layers are ballooned. So we'll take it back to there. I'm quite confident that'll be fine. I overlap it slightly, do a bit of a weld underneath, bit of a weld on top, covers both layers. I'll have a piece welded to there before I close off the top. That'll be welded inside and out. Again there, I've got that piece cut now. Hang on, if I just swap hands because I'm doing this caggy-handed. That piece now will overlap at the back there slightly. Overlap like that, and then the front there lines up with that, sits on there. And that slight overlap allows me to get weld on the inside and the outside. That'll have a beader weld run around that bottom edge, run round the side, and then I'll put a series, if I can get into balance there, put a series of holes in, and then you'll basically plug weld it up. A couple of plug welds there, a couple of plug welds there, just to make him as strong as we can. And then I'll make another piece that goes from that front section to meet there. So again, there'll be a liner weld on inside, plug welds, and then we can basically go from there. Once the back's welded in, then I can make the bottom edge. Once the bottom edge is welded in, then we'll start that again. Once the back edge is welded in, then I'll bring the subframe back up into position where it needs to sit. Because we know this tube here is fine, this edge is fine, so we know that'll bolt up to there. That'll show me where the bottom edge sits. Then we'll put in our crush tubes, then put in the top edge and close it off. So yeah, that is it. It's cleaned up, panels made before I start welding. Like, share, follow, drop us a comment, catch you later. Morning all, DSP Mechanic. So I'll show you this. We're getting on, we've got the pieces cut now for the ends. So that goes in there. Got that mark for the hole. Put a captive bolt on the back of it, same with that one. But the reason for the video, I just wanted to go over a couple of things that I'm seeing quite regular in the comments. First one, is it worth it? Well, maybe not to you, but to the owner, yes. And this is a discussion that we have all the time. It might not be worth it for money value, but these cars, they've got like wicked sentimental value. There's always a story to them. So if it's not worth it to you, that's fine, that's your opinion. Just don't put your opinion onto other people. It's not what we do. We're not here to judge. I mean, some of these cars, they spend big money. They could buy a brand new car for them, but it's not what they want. What they want is their pride and joy repaired to the best standard possible, and that's what we do. So that's that one. The other one, I've seen it asked a few times, why don't you just put a bit of 50mm box, or why don't you get a prefabricated piece? Question I see a lot, and to be fair, it's a good point. But every one of these repairs is different. Like this one, I've cut to there. On the other side, it was cut right way back there. Same with there. Good metal there. Other side, it was back there. And you know, there's never two the same. So where do you have the prefabricated piece made to? One, you've got to find somebody prepared to make the prefabricated piece. You've got to find a good pattern to make it from, which is virtually non-existent now, unless you're going to cut it out of a good car. What's the point of that? And I like being able to get weld on every last little bit of surface. It's like, if I just whip this off here, I'll show you what I mean. That's why I make the back in two pieces. So, let me show you. It's easier to show. So, the back in there, that there supports top wishbone, and that is tied in to the upper rail and the lower rail. That plate there goes right the way down to the very bottom there. Now if I made a prefabricated piece, the only place I could tie that in is along the top, maybe along the bottom. But if you look in there, you can see where I plugged it. I've still got to plug it on that one. Granted, I forgot there, but you know, I've just reminded myself. I'm only human. But that's easy enough, we can do that now. But you can see it's welded all the way along, all the way on the seams on the inside. Not only that, if I did the suggestion of why don't you put a piece of 50mm box section, well that actually sits about an inch lower than there. You can see the curve down in it, look where it drops down. So how would I get around that? Put spacers in. I just prefer to make them. It's easier. Cut it, shape it, weld it in. Easy, job done. Done lots of them now. I could pretty much do these in my sleep. Quite often do. I'm lay awake at night, chassis leg. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, just wanted to go over them. It's just easier, you know, rather than people keep asking the same questions. And the other one, the question I see a lot, and it bugs me, is how much does that cost? How much does that cost? How much is that spending? I wouldn't want to be paying that bill. Well, sorry love, you're not paying that bill. It's none of your business. The money side of it's not why I do the videos. That's between me and the customer. If you've got one that you want repairing, give us a call, drop us a message, and I'll give you a rough idea of price. But I don't put the videos out there for the money side of it. I put the videos out there to show people what's going on, you know, what people are doing with the bodges, what they're covering up, why you shouldn't overplate. You know, expanding foam isn't structural, fiberglass isn't structural, Sikaflex isn't structural, duct tape isn't structural. So it's more about the work than the money. I mean, obviously I've got to make money, I'm a business, but that's not why I do the videos. So if you want prices, please give us a call, give us a text, drop us a message. I'm quite happy to give you prices, but keep it out the videos. and what people pay often depends on how much they have done. Like this guy now, he's having all 4 chassis legs. We've got bits of paint work to do around the rear arches. I'm probably going to end up painting the whole bottom half because he's got sills to do. There's a lot of work. So with having a lot of work like that, I can bundle jobs together and do a better price than if, say, I was just doing 1 sill or 1 chassis leg, because I've got to make my time worthwhile. But like I said, that's not why I do the videos. I want to keep the money out of the videos. So if you get a bit of a rude response when people are asking for money, I apologise. I just don't like it, because money's awkward. I don't like talking about money. It's one of them, innit? So anyway, I'm going to crack on with this. This Sunday, come and see us, 4 before Expo, Stafford Showground. We'll be there. And let's all send our Jeremy hugs and kisses, because he's at home in bed. He's not very well. So let's hope he makes a swift recovery for Expo for Sunday. So like, share, follow. Catch you later. I'm going to get on. Oh, you're all DSP Mechanic, yeah? I'd like to say it gets better, but it never really does. So we're back on the Irish Delica. And oh man, it blows my mind what people will do. So we'll start here, right? Outrigger doesn't look too bad, obvious overplate. And so you look at this side. Let me see if I can get the light in a position where you can see. So you can see there is split, and up there's a gap big enough I can get my fingers down in. That's got to be an inch wide away from the original outrigger. And then there, you can see he's starting to split and come away. Look at the state of that. Right. So there's going to be no strength, no structure behind there. You can see he's starting to crack along there. So I'll be interested to see what's behind. Listen to body fella. Just sounds hollow. So I didn't know I was getting into that, but we're obviously going to be now. But remember the video from that. So that one was the one that I cut with the owner's permission. That's all going to be cut out. And when I'm stripping these, normally, one of the first things I'll try and undo is the anti-roll bar. Well, it appears somebody's already had to go and done it for me. Because whoever welded it last left it off. Didn't even bother. You can see they've snapped the bottom bolt in there, which is fairly standard. They normally, how long do you normally take to drill them out? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
If I get to them first, I normally just eat them up and wind them out.
Yeah, but when they do snap, it's a 10-minute job to drill them out and sort them. But there, they haven't even bothered. They haven't even bothered putting the mount points back in. Just like, yeah, sod it doesn't need stability. You know, why would you need an anti-roll bar on something that's 6 foot wide, 8 foot tall, and handles like a boat anyway? That's just disgusting. Spring cup has all been welded. Well, I say all been welded. It's been welded where you can see.
Been welded where from that to that.
Then we got bolts missing in it. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting workmanship. So I'm going to get that stripped now, and I'm going to put it right. I'm pretty sure I've got an anti-roll bar in the yard as well, so I should be able to reinstate that. But jeez, what will people do, eh? So anyway, if you want to talk about it, the funny fact is we're at 4 before Expo this Sunday, 22nd, Stafford Showground. Come and see us, come and say hello. I've got some merchandise, so some merchandise has arrived today, so buy some of that if you want. You don't have to, but it all helps. And like, share, follow, drop us a comment. I'm going to crack on with this. Catch you later. There you go, DSP again here. I've got to show you this. Look at the state of that. So this had this plate, and he was just welded in over the top like that. Let's not worry about what the condition of the actual structure's like. Granted, acceptable grade steel. I'd have probably gone 3 mil instead of 2. But yeah, let's just completely ignore the fact that the actual chassis leg itself is, you know, disintegrated. Let's not bother tying anything in. Let's just cut little bits out, and I don't even know what they've done. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And dangerous. You know, rather than having all these multiple layers for strength, it's literally relying on that piece of 2 mil that was on the outside. Oh, I'm lost for words, seriously. I know I see it all the time, but every time I see it, it just shocks the living hell out of me that people will do this standard of work just to earn a few quid. Wow. Anyway, I'll crack on. Thought you'd like to see that.